All right, let's bring in Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Good to have you, sir. Kamala Harris's appointment to take over the border. Leader McCarthy over on the Senate side, he said that VP Harris is now the point person for the Biden border crisis. Then Senator Harris, when she was senator, compared ICE to the KKK, introduced legislation to reduce detention beds by 50%, said CBP, holding kids longer than 72 hours, was inhumane. Does she stand by all of that is his question. I'm sure you have questions too, but I also would ask you, should she be given a chance to do this and see how she does?
Well, I got to say my reaction to that appointment is wow, Joe Biden really doesn't like Kamala Harris. This border crisis is the biggest political mess Joe Biden has. It threatens to derail the entire administration. So what does he do? He looks to his vice president and says, you take it. It's your problem now. And listen, unfortunately, she is not going to be able to solve this crisis. Why? Because they've created this crisis, and they've created this crisis because of their political partisan commitments that they can't back away from. So why are we having this crisis at the border? Because when Joe Biden got elected, the first thing he did was stop construction of the border wall. He reinstituted catch and release, so the failed policy, so that now when we detain illegal immigrants, we let them go, we give them a court date sometime in the future, and many of them never show up. And he ended the Remain in Mexico policy, which was this incredibly successful foreign policy accomplishment, where the Trump administration had negotiated with Mexico that illegal immigrants from Central America would remain in Mexico while their asylum proceedings were moving forward. All of those had produced real success. But because the Democrats campaign on saying ICE is evil, securing the border is wrong, because the Democrats support open borders, Kamala Harris doesn't have anything to do other than go down there and let everybody go. I mean, that's the only option that is consistent with the political promises she's made. And I'll tell you, representing the state of Texas, we are seeing illegal immigrants being released in Harlingen, Texas. The illegal immigrants they're releasing are testing positive for COVID-19 at a 7 times higher rate than the U.S. population. It is a humanitarian crisis, it's a public health crisis, and it's a national security crisis.
They blame the Trump administration. I'm sure you've heard that already. You're going there tomorrow, Senator Corden, your fellow Texas senator. When do you think Kamala Harris goes, or President Biden?
I have no idea. They asked Kamala a few days ago if she was going, and she just laughed at that question. Actually, tonight I'm headed down to the border, and I'm bringing 18 senators. So I'm bringing 18 senators to go down to the border. We're going to the facilities. We're meeting with the Border Patrol. We're meeting with the Border Patrol Union, who I know very well. We're going to inspect those facilities and see them directly. And I'll tell you, we invited Fox News to embed with us. We invited ABC News to embed with us. And the Biden administration has said, hell no. They will not allow reporters anywhere near. So they're blocking. When 18 senators show up, the Biden administration is saying no reporter can show up because, and this is their argument, and it really is laughable, they say that reporters, there's too big a risk of COVID. That if there's a cameraman, suddenly it's a COVID crisis. Never mind the Donna facility, which they won't allow reporters into. The Donna facility, its capacity is 250 people. It currently has nearly 4,000 people in it. That is 1,500% in excess of its capacity. There's a reason they don't want reporters in there. It's not COVID. The reason they don't want reporters in there is because they don't want the American people to realize the absolute train wreck of a policy that the Biden administration is implementing.
Senator, you can let them know we've been working for a year nonstop. Yeah. 2 more topics quickly, Dan.
Well, I wanted to ask you about the other thing that's happening, and this was a big deal yesterday. H.R. 1, which is the bill that the Democrats passed in the House to basically completely change voting rights in America. There was a hearing on it yesterday. What do you think is the most important thing for Americans to know about that bill?
So I think this is the single most dangerous bill being considered by Congress right now. It is the Corrupt Politicians Act, because it is designed to entrench corrupt politicians in office and to keep Democrats in power for 100 years. What does it do? It has the federal government take over all elections. It repeals virtually all of the common sense state integrity laws for election integrity. So, for example, 29 states have voter ID laws, including my home state of Texas. The Corrupt Politicians Act repeals every one of them, says it's illegal to require identification to vote. The Corrupt Politician Act also mandates universal mail-in voting everywhere for no reason whatsoever. And it mandates ballot harvesting, which 31 states have made illegal. That's paid political operatives that say go to a nursing home and they collect hundreds of ballots. And it is the single most likely circumstance for voter fraud, because those paid operatives, they can go to vulnerable seniors in nursing homes who may not be in a condition to make choices. If the seniors vote in a way they don't like, they can throw their ballot away. And the Democrats are trying to expand those opportunities for fraud. And I'll tell you even more fundamentally than that, Dana, what it does is it automatically registers anyone who interacts with the government, anyone who gets a welfare check, an unemployment check, anyone who gets a driver's license, anyone who goes to a public university. The Democrats know that will result in millions of illegal immigrants being registered to vote, and that is their objective, is to get millions of illegal immigrants to vote. And it also strikes down all the state laws limiting felons, limiting criminals from voting. This law mandates that when anyone leaves prison, they can immediately vote. So the Democrats have decided apparently what America needs is more murderers, more rapists, more child molesters voting. And they've made the very cynical decision that millions of illegal immigrants and millions of criminals voting is going to benefit Democrats and keep them in power. This is a very dangerous
It got off the ground in the
legislation.
House. We'll see whether or not it goes anywhere in the Senate. Quickly, sir, I just want to play a clip from you yesterday on the Hill. You came out to talk to reporters, and this exchange went the following way.
Sometimes putting a mask on for us?
Yeah, when I'm talking to the TV camera, I'm not going to wear a mask, and all of us have been immunized. So
It'd make us feel better.
you're welcome to step away if you like. The whole point of a vaccine, CDC guidance, is what we're following.
What happened after that? We did not see on camera.
Well, that particular cameraman went and left, and he decided he didn't want to be at the press conference. That's fine. He's welcome to make that choice. You know, at some point it is a little silly. I got to say, if you turn on the TV on any given day and watch, say, the White House press conference with Jen Psaki, she hasn't worn a mask a single day, and you didn't see any petulant reporters throwing a fit and running screaming out of the room. It's particularly absurd when every senator standing there has been vaccinated. And at some point, it just becomes theater. It just becomes a virtue signal as people wear 2, 3, 4 masks. Listen, I'm not someone who says never wear a mask. I think you should use common sense precautions. But people have gotten pretty crazy about this stuff.
Senator, thank you for your time. We went through a lot. We'll see what we get today. Thank you, Ted Cruz.
Take care. God bless.